Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever the hell you are. My name is Luna fucking Rose, and this is Recovery in the Raw. This is a platform where real recovering addicts share their experience, strength, and hope. We feature one or more speaker stories within a month. Graphic language is permitted. In the meantime, we encourage you to leave your comments. Although we are not affiliated with any 12-step program, um, 12-step literature is approved, as well as any other recovery related literature or content. Um, if you would want to speak, we would love to hear your story. Or if you would like to donate, please send either request to recovery in the raw 2050 at gmail.com. Thank you and many blessings. And today, recovery in the raw family, we have Skye. And a little bit about Skye. Skye's going to introduce himself with his clean time first, and then he's basically going to start us off with his childhood, and what effect that may have had on him and his using. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Skye.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
I'm a grateful recovering addict. My name is Skye. My clean date is February 28th, 1994. Um, 32 years, 4 months, and 10 days, something like that. Um, yeah. Um, Childhood first. Okay. I am the third boy. There's five all of us. There was five. I'm the third boy and the oldest of the two sisters. I have two sisters that I'm older than. The first boy died of a heart condition, and the second boy at a very early age, and the second boy died of a heart condition of a very early age. And I don't know how that affected my mother, but I'm sure it didn't do well. Um, so at about 3 years old, my mother looked over, 3.5 years old, my mother looked over at me and goes, I don't know why you had to live and they had to die. And yeah, it was that didn't cause any trauma at all. No, none. And I was always on the outside looking in. My sisters, they always told my sisters they loved them. And I just thought that that was the norm, you know, because it's all I knew. So, I was always held off, I was never picked up, never hugged, never told I was loved, never none of that shit. So I went on and like any good addict, I went looking for something somewhere else and ran with those people. I'm originally from New York, from Brooklyn. Wanted to be a wise guy. When people say I didn't want to grow up and be an addict, well, I wanted to grow up and be a wise guy. I liked what I saw. And then we moved to California. I was a youngster in California, moved to California, and there weren't really wise guys here, you know what I mean? So I ran with the next group of people, bikers and lowriders. So, and that was mostly bikers, but I hung around with lowriders, Mexicans in Southern California. There's a couple of them here. Uh, yeah, that's it. And I was introduced to drugs at a very early, well, since I was a little kid, at dinner time, they always put a shot glass of wine on the table for each kid, to have with dinner. So I started drinking, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years old, some shit like that. Started using drugs on a daily basis, trying to fit in probably when I was around 10 or 11, running with those people. I grew up in the golden age of drugs, pills, pot, all the other bullshit that went along. People always say, what's your drug of choice? I always say more, yours, and free. That was my drug. What I love to do more than anything else is speedball. But I'm a trash can addict, man. I will do whatever's fucking. I'm discriminating. I hold my hand out and go, "What is it?" And they go, "Good," and I go, "Okay." That's
So,
okay.
so
I'm
my question to you then is, again, first off, sorry to hear about the arc of distance in the family, and sorry to have heard that that was ever said to you. I've had somewhat things said to me that just hit me the wrong way, but that's terrible. And my question to you then is like, was it when you started hanging out with the biker crews that you got heavier into your addiction?
uh, probably, but was still running around with people anyway. Always hanging out with the loadies. Come on, man, at the handball courts or whatever it is. The guys standing on the corner, all the cool cats. You know what I mean? All the cool cats. So yeah, if hung around with the older guys, so I was always the younger guy in the bunch. So there was the the peewee, and just was trying to fit in, man. Just trying to
Did
fit
you
in.
uh did you graduate
From what?
high school?
Eventually, yes, but not till I was an old man.
So you had to go back and
I
finish
got a
up.
GED, yes. When I first got out of the service, I took classes. And they said, "Well, we can't seem to find your high school diploma." And I said, "Well, I graduated high school." You know how dope fiends are. We lie well. So, no, I never graduated, but I had enough credits to get a small business degree and a horticulture degree, which the horticulture I used to help grow shit.
For sure. I think that's why half of a lot of the teenagers took that class was because so they could grow shit. You know, but it what how long did you serve in the service for?
Almost 6 years.
Did you use during your time in the
Oh
service?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Were you
I was
ever
I was using before I went to the service. I got, it was either go to jail or go to the service. So I picked the United States Coast Guard, thinking, okay, they guard the United States coast, and didn't work out that way. So I happened to be real good at hitting everything I aimed at. So they kept shuffling me up. They shuffled me to the Navy from the Coast Guard, and then they shuffled me to a thing called SOGS, which stood for Study and Observation Group, which had nothing to do with studying or observing any fucking thing. And I said, learn how to do more drugs. I went there with a habit and came back with even a better one.
yeah, yeah. Did you go overseas?
I did 4.5 years in country, what they call in country, but everywhere we weren't. Cambodia, Laos, North Vietnam, South China. 71 to 75. But we
Well,
were
thank you for
never at
your
those
service.
places, so I don't exist.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for your service, and I'm sure that plays a role in how much do you use too, like after the service?
Oh,
Would that
definitely used. I mean, I took the talents that they taught me, and you know what? You either become a cop or you become a criminal, and I became a criminal, man. I mean, I liked the underworld, man, and that's all there was to it.
can you recall like we all have those moments when we use and we get in those like, oh shit, I'm fucked moments. Like, you're in a situation where you thought you wasn't gonna be in type shit, and how you gonna get out of it. Did you ever have any kind of
Not really while I
situation?
was doing most of that shit. I mean, there was times where shit went sideways, and everybody. My biggest problem was is when I stopped doing that shit, and all of a sudden now I had to buy the drugs, and I had to support my habit, and I had a hell of a habit. Yeah, I did what I when I did what I did in the service. I cleaned shit up, man. You know what? If Same with going to jail, man. You know what I mean? Fixer, house cleaner, whatever the fuck you want to call it, man. You know what? When everything else fails, they call people like me to take care of things. And there's no collections or any of that shit.
You
So
ever spend time in jail?
oh yeah, yeah. I have a federal number, I have a state number, and I have numerous county numbers. Or I had, I don't anymore.
Uh, if you'd like to share one of those situations that landed you in jail, which one would you choose?
So- well, the ATF and the DEA seem to still be holding a grudge. Uh, Apparently, if you shoot at them, they get pissed.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
Rumor has it, rumor has it that it's just some shit that went down, and there was scandalous shits all over the there. I should have never been let out. I mean, if you want to get now that I look back at all the crap but that could be said for a lot of us. It's like so. It's just it was.
So my question to you then
Deals
is
that gone
if
wrong that were dealt with the government. It went sideways. You know what? And
if
it just wasn't a good deal.
right, if someone was in your situation, you know, like what would you tell them now now that you're like in recovery, but how do you deal with
Well, when I talk to
that?
youngsters or younger people, youngsters, there's a term I need to quit using. Um, I tell them the worst thing you can do because sometimes I go to YTS, although the one that by where I live is closed. But I always used to tell them, and even when I go to the treatment centers, the young people, it's like the worst thing you can do is put a felony behind your name. That's it.
And you staying clean now, um, and I know that affects like getting jobs and doing all this stuff too.
Well, I've
Uh,
always worked as a barber or a hairstylist, and I like motorcycle shops, and I raced motorcycles. So the people that I ran around with haven't wasn't a big deal. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, we're going to run a background check on you and see. Everybody I worked with used drugs. Everybody I fucking hung with used drugs. I mean, sold, manufactured, you name it. You
what
know.
would be one of let's say one of the most exciting experiences you have had? Um,
Racing
like
motorcycles,
yeah, yeah.
racing Formula racing GP motorcycles,
And
Grand
and
Prix.
you did that while
Oh
using.
yeah, I fucked off a hell of a career. I fucked off a few good jobs, man, because of my.
Isn't that what happens? Isn't that what happens?
That's it. I mean, every major manufacturer, car, bike, whatever, they want a motherfucker sitting there doing this shit or bouncing off the fucking walls because that's the corporate image they want to project. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, man. Missed days that I was supposed to be there for testing or for other shit. Missed days where I was supposed to participate in public relationship. So yeah, like everything ended up, close to being a curb creature, man. You know what I mean? And everywhere in between. I always manage to find women that wanted to save me. And boy, you
Did
can
it
screw
ever work?
them, and you can screw them into the ground pretty fucking hard before they get
Did,
tired of your shit.
did it
It's like,
ever work?
huh?
Did they did they ever work? Did they ever save you?
Oh no, no, no.
Right. Right. Because it's you that's got to save yourself, right?
You look. This is. I always say to everybody, I don't give a shit what fellowship you're in. This is a save your own ass program. If you ain't willing to do the work, you're not going to get any results, and that's the reality of it. My past is shittier than some and better than others. I know people who have. When I got to a 12-step fellowship, okay, AIDS was big, and people were dropping like flies. And they would say, "Show you can't talk about that here because it's not it's not recovery related. It's not about your recovery. And if it's about you, how could it not be about your recovery?" I always laughed at that, man.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. I got hepatitis, but I never got anything more than that, man. IB users, we all did. Yeah. I like that Waylon Jennings song, "Pills and 90 Proof." You know, but people always ask you, "What's your drug of choice?" And the new people, because younger people, and they always, "What's your drug of choice?" I said, "Well, I like shooting whiskey and drinking cocaine and heroin, or something like that."
Yeah.
And I've come to the understanding in my recovery that wasn't about the drugs or the alcohol or however you want to phrase it. You know what? I consider everything a fucking drug. It's just easier for me. The thing pisses me off right now is I'm hearing this California clean. And what the fuck is California clean? And they go, "Well,
Well,
we just smoke marijuana." And I'm thinking, because it's legal. And I said, "Well, alcohol is legal, so every state has a some. You're in a
well, there's also like gray areas too, because with the medical properties of
Look,
marijuana and
if
shit.
you ain't
But
getting it from a doctor with a prescription and a proper amount of dosage on it, for me, this is my opinion, and this is how I choose to live. It doesn't count. You know what?
well, true. Well, yeah. I mean, that's also
And that's just for me. I'm not talking about anybody else, and what you choose to do is your business. You know
Oh
what?
yeah, sure, sure.
I've heard everything from lithium salts when the doctors were prescribed that. Well, they're taking psych meds. It's fucking lithium, dude. Lithium salts. It's like fucking. You can't even get high off this shit.
well, I'll admit it here is that like for me, I suffer from chronic pain. I
Yes,
suffer. So I talk to my doctor because it is
and
legal.
he prescribes something, and you take it accordingly, and that's all
Well,
there is to it.
well, yeah, yeah, and what the thing is, the doctors don't prescribe for that if it's legal, but they know I do it, and they know it's for chronic pain. You
Okay,
know what I mean?
and
So
that's
like,
between you, your
so,
sponsor, and God.
so I'm saying there's always that gray area. There's like
Like I said, I can't talk for anybody else. I can only tell you what I do because
hey,
I know
that's
what's going to
great. That's
happen. I
great.
obsess and compulse on every fucking thing.
Well,
So
actually,
it's like,
yeah. I
hey, man,
mean,
Skye will be a pothead shortly. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was coming back from the noon meeting and they have a dispensary now on Hope Boulevard in Pomona, California. And I mean, there was cars parked up and down the street and a line to get into thing before the weekend. And I'm going, fuck.
see, there's also like people will argue, there's a difference between medicinal and recreational,
Yeah.
and but
And
we
that's why I said I'm not here to judge what you do.
no, I mean, of course not. I'm here
You
to,
know, and
I'm not
and
here to
and
defend
or
myself
anybody
either. So,
else, or anybody else. It's not my
I,
job. I've
I
heard
can
all
myself.
kinds of shit about all kinds of things, man, and
Look, I know for me what works for me and my life.
that's it.
I've come a long way, a
Yes, ma'am.
long way, and here I am off everything. Other than that,
Well, but that's okay.
here I am sitting here, uh,
Doing this thing
11,
we call
11
recovery.
months, 11 months and 24 days off of relapse. So
There
I'm
you
almost
go,
a
doing
year,
this thing called
almost a
recovery.
year.
That's like a guy at a meeting. He sat there and he's sitting there going, "Well, I take these psych meds, but I hadn't took them for a couple of days, so I crushed them up and snorted them, and they said I used." And I looked at him and I'm going, "Oh, because that's what it said to do on the label, right? Crush them up and snort them." And he goes, "Well, no." And I went, "Okay." And I didn't say you used
All
or nothing
right,
else. I just said,
yeah.
"Okay." You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, as far as I'm concerned, if it don't say crush them up and you snort them, then it don't say crush them up and snort them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's it.
sure, sure.
That's for me because I like the shit. People say you hate drugs. You got 32 years clean. You hate. I love drugs. I love everything about them. I like a
That's why
little
you go to
drool
meetings,
coming
right?
out of the
That's why you go
corner of
to
my
meetings.
mouth. I like a little drool coming out of the corner of my mouth, chin buried in my chest, all that good shit. The problem is I can't deal with the side effects. Homelessness, degradation, dereliction, depression, fucking isolation, incarceration, and the list goes on and on and on. And I don't have to deal with that shit today because
So
I'm clean.
what happened in 1994 that was a
I
changer for
I
you?
came to Narcotics Anonymous to save a marriage. I used to before I married this person. I guess she would be my Eskimo for lack of a better term, but she really wasn't. But and so I went to this treatment outpatient thing. I didn't even know what the fuck outpatient was. I was in the program for 9 months before I began to understand what the fuck sober living was. Not that I'd ever been in one, but I didn't even know. I just saw I pick guys up or guys, drop them off. I said, well, that's just a bunch of dudes staying clean, living in a house. And
So you went
technically,
in to
that's
save
correct.
you went in to save a marriage, but it ended up saving yourself.
Yeah, it didn't save the marriage. It didn't work out. And
Right.
thank God. Not that she was a bad person. It's just not good for me. And I started, and when I went to my first meeting, I'll tell you I always say I came to the dumbest story in 12-step program. I went to that place. I was working at a place barbershop, and a girl said, "Yeah, they have free counseling over there." This is when I was still married. Only been married once. Probably the only thing I've ever done once since I've been an addict, except clean date. Um, so I went there, and they have the admissions table. You sit one side of the table, you sit at the other side of the table. And the lady asked us, "So do you use drugs?" I said, "No, I quit." Now, my interpretation of quitting: smoking weed, doing occasional railers with the boys down at the motorcycle shop on the weekends, but it's not like I'm using drugs. Yeah, I'm not harpooning myself in the neck or in the arm or wherever, you know, not eating tons of pills. So I was clean. Yeah. And she said, "Well, do you think you're an addict?" And I looked at her and I, not knowing any better, and thinking, "You dumb bitch. What part of I'm clean, don't you? That I stopped using I didn't even say clean, said stopped using. Don't you understand?" And she looked at me and said, but and then these words came out of my mouth. "But I am codependent." And the woman on the other side of the table, without dropping a ball, because my ex-wife said I was codependent, which is true, because I don't know of an addict that isn't. Um, so, but we send all our codependent people over to Narcotics Anonymous. That's where they sent me. It's been my home. I don't care what 12-step program you're in. If you're in 12-step program, take it, run with it like your life depends upon it, because it does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, So I went to the first meeting, and when they do the, you know how the newcomers stand up, I'm so and so, I'm new, I'm so and so, I'm new. They get to me, and I stand up and go, well, I'm not an addict, but I am codependent. I said this in the meeting, at the beginning of the meeting, and somebody said, well, take your little fucking codependent ass over there, sit down, shut the fuck up, and listen.
That's it. Sit down, shut the fuck up, and listen.
And at any other time in my life, I would have went over the top of that table and went right after that motherfucker. And I didn't. I went over to the chair, sat down, and by when they did the readings, they answered questions that I'd been asking myself my entire life. And I didn't even have to
Yes,
ask.
yes,
They
I agree.
answered questions. Who's an addict? Why are you here? You know,
And
what is the program?
they you know recommend or give you this thing,
Oh,
this
oh no,
book.
don't read the basic text, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't read the instruction book. Come on. You'll fuck your using up. Then you'll really be screwed. You'll have a head full of NA and a body full of dope. And I've been
you
told
know,
that it's not good.
I tell people there's been no book that I've ever adhered to more than that book. Just for
When I
me.
sponsor people, I make them read it. They go, when you
Same. I do
sponsor me, I
too.
sit there, call every 30 days in a row and read to page 107. It used to be 103, but now I think it's
I
107.
have them read from chapter 1 to chapter 10 at
No,
that.
I
That's
start
fine.
from the very beginning, the very first blank page, and they go,
Oh, the
well,
blank page. Yeah,
there's nothing on that page. I go, yeah, because that's what you know about
exactly.
Narcotics Anonymous, and that's or what you
Nothing.
know about recovery, and what you have coming here, what you're entitled to. And the answer
Here's the
is
first
nothing.
page.
And they read it all through there, and then they come back to me and they go, how did they know about me? I said, because we knew you were coming. I look at people, I tell them all the time, the literature and the fellowship that I belong to, and this is the fellowship that I belong to, written by addicts for addicts. And I believe that's why it works. I like the fact that it's the God of my understanding, not anybody else's. I like the fact that my life is definitely, they always say, you were talking about things that made him. See, I always thought it was in the beginning, like everybody else, it was the drugs. And in the literature, it says drugs are just a symptom. And I understand that today. It isn't my disease, it's just a symptom of my disease. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, they worked. They took me away for that minute. You know what I'm saying? And let me go hide somewhere with the delusion that it'll be better when I get back. And it never was. And it never was. And then they stopped working. And when I say that, people say, what do you mean? Did you get loaded anymore? I got just as loaded the last time as I did the first time. It just
How many
wouldn't,
times did you relapse,
none,
or have you ever? Okay.
none since I came to 12-step program. I understand this is now a 12-step program.
Now, for me, I've been in the program for 3 years. I relapsed 4 times while in the program, but I never left. I kept coming to meetings. I kept coming to
Well, we
meetings.
keep telling people, keep coming back.
Yeah.
We would prefer you to
And
come back clean, but keep coming back. And it says in
yeah,
that, what does it say in the recovery and
meeting
relapse?
makers make it. Meeting makers make it.
Yeah, but they don't recover. That's
Right.
you know, what we say there, it may
Working
be
a sponsor, getting.
a relapse may be the jolt that you need to work a more aggressive or more aggressive, for lack of a better term. There's another word they use, but so yeah, no, it says, because people say, well, they relapse, so you're going to hate them. I said in the basic text, the book that I read, it says we have the utmost respect for anybody that makes it back because it's not a given. I was at the Nooner today, and a guy was sitting there going, and he's talking about he took some time, and I think he took 2 years, and he says, "Yeah, this is I don't is the revolving door closed." And at the end of the after the end of the meeting, I pulled him aside, said that I got bad news for you. And he says, "What's that?" I said, "The revolving door didn't close." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "But the positive part of that is you made a decision to stop walking through it.
Yeah,
The door is always going to be revolving for me, for you, for every
yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah,
body,
yeah, yeah,
everybody. But I made a decision not to walk through it just for today, just like you did probably.
yeah.
I'm venturing to say that's what happened.
Well, I wouldn't be sitting here if that wasn't the case.
Hey, okay, you know, the
Uh,
doors, it's still there. It's like, no, man, I can't.
I
I
always tell people, look, I always tell people, what you need to realize is that it's not the drugs that are a problem. It's us. A drug is a drug until you pick it up. A gun
Mhm.
is a gun on the table until you pick it up.
No,
You know what I mean? So
well, there was that one I seen that was it was where would I seen it on somewhere. Unless there says, well, if guns kill people, forks make people fat. Um, what was the other one? There was a couple of them. Forks make people fat. It's along those lines. Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
You put a gun on the table, it don't kill nobody. Only an idiot behind it kills it. You put a fork on the table, it doesn't make you fat till you start shoveling it in
Water
your
gives
mouth.
water gives people cancer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just like, damn. And it's just like, that's me. It, got a friend came back, did 10 years, got clean, went out, did 10 years, almost 10 years, and came back. And he's on parole. He says that I've been clean. He took 6 months today. And he sat there and he went, he said, I've been clean almost the whole time since I've been out. He said, except at the beginning when I relapsed, and then they gave me another year of parole. And he said, on parole, he says, but they got to pay me for that year. And I laugh because my mind immediately, here's a dope fiend. This is how I know I'm an addict. Okay. My mind went immediately to trying to figure out the math on when he could fucking get another small criminal charge and get his parole extended for another year to get the money. You know what I mean? Now, how fuck, where is the logic in that fuck? And yet, with over 32 years clean, oh my God. And the very first thought once he said that was that fucking statement. How to figure out the dates so we can extend it another year to get it. It's like that's how I work. I love that saying, first thought wrong, because it is.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, I like to say it all the time. Some days, if it wasn't for stupid, I wouldn't have shit going on. You know, I'm a realist, dear. I'm in recovery. I'm not recovered.
No,
I'm better than I used to
I
be,
heard
that's
that.
for
I
sure.
heard that. I heard that.
But I am
Let
not.
me ask you something. What would you tell someone right now who's like dancing around coming to a 12-step program or an Narcotics Anonymous program or whatever program?
Any program.
What would you tell them if they're dancing around it? Like they think they got a problem, but they're not sure. What would you say?
Why don't you go to a meeting for 90 days, and if you don't qualify, the street will be right where you left it. We'll
I
gladly,
always tell
how did they
people,
say it? We'll gladly refund your misery at the door, man.
yeah, I always tell people, it's not the program that fails people; it's the people that fail the program. And if narcotics or I'm sorry, if any 12-step program would be a restaurant, like they would get good reviews all the time because they've always worked, they work the program. The
Hmm?
program works if you work it. So, it would have no bad reviews.
I love when the people that come in and then go back on and go, the program doesn't work. And I look at them going, you're absolutely right. And they look at what? I said, you're absolutely right. It doesn't work. It's just fucking words on paper. That's all it is. Words on paper. Until you apply what you read, it's just fucking words on paper. and it doesn't work. I always use that when all else fails, follow the instructions. God, I heard that all my life, long before I got here. And it's the
Oh,
truth.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's the truth. When all else fails, follow the instructions. Where's the
can't do it
instructions?
ourselves.
That
Yeah.
that book you held up earlier. We won't go to whose book it was, but that
Yeah,
book
but
you held up earlier. Whose ever book you hold up earlier. That's where the fucking instructions are.
well, hell, that could be the Bible.
If
You
that's
know?
what works for you, good. I know people that have gotten clean in a 12-step program and gone to church, and I see them from time to time, and they're having, from what I can tell, perfectly normal lives. They don't go to 12-step meetings, they don't do that step work anymore. They go to church and it works for them. And I'm glad. Because you know what? It's not a fucking contest for me.
Yeah.
It's not. I hate that term.
How many times have you worked the steps in your 90 since 94?
6, 9 times, 8 times, 8 times, 8 times steps, 7 times traditions, because that's where I'm at now, and twice concepts of service.
You know, I have worked the steps. I reset and like hit step 4 twice because I was on step 8, relapsed and hit step 4 again because I started all over. So then I completed my first round of steps. Now I'm on the traditions. Then I'm going to the concepts. Then I'm going to the steps. So
That's it.
same
Even
thing.
if you
Yeah.
just go steps back to steps back to steps, at least you're working on yourself. That's the trick. See, the
Yeah.
the biggest misnomer of most 12-step programs is it's about drugs and alcohol. And no, that's not what it's about. I said it's about change. Because if nothing changes, is what they say. I've heard it said. And I disagree with that. Because if nothing changes, there's a good possibility your clean date will. It's a program of change. How are you going to stay? I'm going to use the word clean because that's what I'm used to using. Okay. How are you going to stay clean with the same thoughts that got you loaded? It's not that we're stupid people. We just don't know.
And
And
I
not
didn't know, I didn't know. See, I was
know nothing
born into,
about staying clean when I got here, man. Come
uh,
on. You
no,
don't
and
use. That's it. Oh,
I was born into the disease of addiction, but it doesn't mean that I have to stay an addict the rest of my life.
my mom probably had major mental health conditions. My old man drank like a fucking fish. Was he an alcoholic? I don't know. Was she out to lunch? I can look back at both of them now and go, yep. But at the time, that was mom, that was dad, and that was the way it was. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the way it was. And it wasn't their fault. It was, I made my decisions based on fucked up information, but they were still my decisions. Just like in recovery, still my decisions. The grateful thing for me is that I understand that I get to make decisions, and they're not always going to be brilliant, or sometimes they're going to be incredibly brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Scary brilliant.
So when you first started along there, we often talk about the pink cloud, and
Yeah.
that sounds like a great thing, but
I
it
tell people
is,
make sure you
but
have a pink parachute.
yeah, it can be dangerous because you're going to come down. You're going to come down.
That's it. It when I got here, it works how and why wasn't even out yet. Okay. So the 3 books that I was told that I needed was a basic text, a just for today, and a dictionary, and not a cheap dictionary. So, well, I can't afford a really, so I said, go to the library. And we used to run around holding that basic text and arguing about when I was doing arguing about shit we knew absolutely nothing about. And everybody looks at him and says, a lot of people look at him and say, well, that's stupid. I said, no, it's not. Because at least we were talking about recovery and not talking about using. And I
Well,
believe today there's not enough emphasis put on the recovery part of it, especially from the internet. It's gotten better since international meeting first started. I it was a shit show. I mean, there was people sitting there going, "We got to make it easier for the newcomers," and no, we don't. It's work. This year we're celebrating 73 years of being in existence.
since 1953, our
Yeah,
program.
yeah, 73 years of being in existence, man. And they look at me and they sit there and all them people made it. They didn't change shit. That's like guys my age and my time in
Why
Oval.
fix something, or why fix something that's not broken?
Well, that's like we call the 18-month chip the whiner chip. You're whining. When I first got here, and it changed shortly thereafter, there was a welcome chip, a 60-day chip, a 6-month chip, and a 1-year chip. That was it. Then they get 30, 60, 90, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. 18 months came in, and when I got here, I didn't have an 18-month chip, so we were all pissed. So fuck them. 2 years. Now they got one that I heard decades
Multiple
clean.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
not
purple one.
decades
It's
clean.
a
Yeah, the
purple.
purple one.
It's purple. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Fixing shit that ain't broke. You know, I'm content with.
Look, I tried to do this another way. I tried to come in thinking I found a loophole and that alcohol wasn't a problem for me and that it wasn't a drug and I didn't have to worry about it because it wasn't my DOC. But it
Okay.
really was one of my DOCs. And, I lied to myself in the program. I drank while in the meeting. Just
All the
bullshitted
shit
myself.
that we do, man. I've seen motherfuckers come out of the bathroom. No, they just shot up. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they're in the middle of the meeting, go to the bathroom and come back out, and they're like this or like this. Like, I always say I never not found the fix at the bottom of a shot glass because, like I said, my old man drank a lot, and he didn't drink beer, so everything I drank was whiskey and wine. That's what I grew up on. That's what
Mine
I
was whiskey. Mine was anything I could drink that was alcohol.
I hated beer, but I'll tell you what, catch me at the Colorado River on a 100 fucking
You give me some
five-degree
moonshine.
day with
Yeah.
nothing else to do but beer and watch who downs a case of fucking beer. The guy that hates it, hate the taste, hate everything about it.
Yeah.
Boom.
I had moonshine and that's like drinking pure fucking gasoline. And it was terrible. And I, got sick and
Yeah.
just yeah,
All the
yeah.
all the good shit that we do, man. All the good shit that we do.
But here's the issue is that the glorification of these things makes it seem that it's normal, that it's okay.
Well,
Like in
everybody
movies
keeps
and
saying
social media and
they come to Narcotics Anonymous and they go, I want a normal life. Oh, you're in the wrong place. And they look at me like, what? I said, you're in the wrong place. We don't get normal lives here. We get different lives here. I
yes,
had a
it
normal
offers us a
life.
new way to live, a new way to
I
live,
had
not
a
just
normal
yeah.
life before I came to NA. I got up, I got well, and I did whatever it took to stay well every single fucking day. I don't care what it was, or what I had to do to get it. I got up, and there's another term that I lose. I didn't get up. I came to. I did what I took to get well, and did whatever it took to stay well until they would say, go to sleep. No, passed out. Because when I was using, it was coming to and passing out, coming to and passing out. There was no going to sleep. I go to sleep now. Fuck, I beat my alarm clock up in the morning. That's how fucking lame I am. You know,
I always tell people I never thought that I would love a boring life, but I love a boring life, you know?
I tell motherfuckers that are new all the time, I go, I'm a layman in law. And they look at me like, what? I said, I love it. I love it. It's, I don't have to prove shit to nobody. Don't have to fucking show nobody nothing. Just have to fucking enjoy my life. That's it.
It offers us a sense of stability, a sense of organization, a course to follow. Because I know before my life was chaotic. That's what our literature says. You
Yeah.
come in with fractured personalities, and I always tell people, and it says, and we do recover that we come in with fractured personalities, and I tell people, what every program you go to, that recovery program is your cast. That's what's going to help heal your fractured personality. Whatever program you decide to go to, anything recovery is going to help. So
Here's how fucked up we come to a program, not this program, a program. You start to get clean and you look at everybody and go, yeah, I'm getting clean. I was an addict. And everybody looks at you and goes, you think? Yeah, we're always the last ones to find out. We're
it's funny because
always the last ones to find out.
I did go into a meeting once, and I said like, oh, I'm new here, I don't know much about this, and this is 3 years ago, and I said, I said that, and someone said exactly what you said earlier. Well, come on in, sit down, listen, and shut the fuck up. So
but that's it. And people look at it's like, dude, boom. It's like we're always the last ones to know. I laugh so much, man, because that's one of the things one guy told me. Everybody used to say, hey, he's crazier than Buck, man. Guy named Jimmy Flood, he died clean, man. I ran with that dude for a long time. We just hung out. Wasn't sponsored, wasn't none of that shit. Just a good friend. And he always said, you better learn to laugh at yourself in Narcotics Anonymous. Otherwise, you're missing out on the biggest fucking joke in Narcotics Anonymous. And I've learned to laugh at myself because that's it. The only thing there's nothing I take more serious than my recovery. Not my life, not nothing. My recovery. Because
all right,
that
let me ask you
was
this: what was one of the hardest but the safest amends you had to make?
to my mom. Because by the time I had gotten there to make amends, she didn't want to hear it. And I didn't give her the blow by blow because she'd already lived it. There was a restraining order against me to stay away from the house. Now, I was the guy that took care of my mom for the last 15 years of her life. So I gone from a restraining order to the person in charge of all of her finances, all of her fucking medical, all everything, and didn't touch didn't abuse none of it, didn't touch a penny of it, didn't do nothing with it. The biggest fuck up was the one that ended up running the fucking show.
Yeah, it's funny how
That's what
programs
the
will.
what recovery does.
Yeah,
I tell people all the time, you don't need a 12-step program to stay clean. They're like, I'd be like, I'm crazy. I said, you don't. All you got to do is not pick up and use
that's
and
it.
be the same miserable fuck you were out there in here, if not worse, because now you have no drugs to take the edge off.
See, anyone can come into a program with experience, strength, and hope, but people aren't going to come into a program with the knowledge of recovery. They're just not
No.
going to do it.
A friend that died clean said it the best. He goes, hope, the definition of hope is the down payment of something, is a down payment on something better. I like that. Hope is the down payment on something better. And it's been that way.
I like that. I like that.
My whole fucking life. It's been, not my whole life in recovery. My whole life. I say my whole life. And yet there was 40 years before I got here. And yet this is the ones that I concentrate on. You know, and I'm a big stickler. because I heard it when I first got people type, oh, you know, I got this much shares and I smelled more dope. And yeah, but I used to look at him, so maybe you didn't spill so much, you would have got here sooner. You know, but I'm the same as the person with 1 day clean.
It's kind of funny how we go though from trying to collect white specks off the floor to picking up a book and reading it. You know what I mean?
You mean your acoustic ceilings are not to be snorted? Uh,
Right.
um, I'm the same as one with the person with 1 day clean. I get the same 24-hour reprieve as they do. And what I
Right.
choose to do with that 24 hours will determine how my life goes. And like I said earlier, some days if it wasn't for stupid, I wouldn't have shit going on. Some days I'm not in recovery, man. I get up in the morning, I dial radio K fuck in my head, and I put my fuck you blinders on, and I charge out the door. And God forbid anybody stupid enough to stand in front of me and ask me how I'm doing, and I will immediately vomit all over them. And at the end of the day, I didn't use drugs. I got another day clean, no recovery, no spirituality, and probably a few amends are going to have to be
If
made.
you're coming into the program for the first time now, when I first came in, I came in listening, scope shit out, and then I started to share. How important do you think it is for people to share when they come in?
At least open
With
up your mouth and open up. I've heard the stories and seen people you don't share in your first year. Good for you. The only thing I tell anybody that's new is don't tell me about what a great drug dealer you were, or how wonderful that you did drugs in this and how you slung it. Tell me what's going on with you today. Tell me your name and what's going on with you today. And I'll tell you my name and what's going on with me today. And together, hopefully, we'll get another day clean together.
how many people do you sponsor today?
Uh, I knew you were going to ask. I think 15, 13 or 15. I forget. They
Yeah,
call me, and with the exception of two new guys, I don't, not that I don't consider them sponsees. It's just that I know one for 20 years, the other one for 17 years, one for 15 years, one for
so your
10.
network, your recovery network.
Huh?
I said a recovery network.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that has that to do with sponsees and shit. That's to do with working with people. That's just so I get out of Skye. The people I hang with, and then not many of them, and that's my choice. Everybody goes, I had a time we go to Costco. Okay, from the noon meeting, I grab a couple people, go to Costco, get the $1.50 hot dog and a big pizza. You know what I'm saying? And they go, "Why do you keep going to Costco? Because it's cheap to feed these fuckers that way." And it is. It's $10 for the pizza, buck and a half for a hot dog and a soda. Give them a hot dog and a soda and a slice of pizza, and we're good. You know, and I'm in there, and somebody comes walking by. I've known her forever and her with her family, and they say, and the guy looks at me and she goes, "Oh, hi Skye, how you doing? Hey, what's up? Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, yeah." And the sponsor said, "Is there any place we can go that somebody doesn't know you?" And I'm going, "Probably, but the longer you're here, the more I know you. I now know somebody in on Ohio. Okay. I know
yeah.
somebody in Rhode Island. I know somebody in North Carolina. I know somebody in South Carolina. I know somebody in Texas, Minnesota, Iowa, and the list goes on and on and on, man. And it's all courtesy of this. Before I got clean, this would have never fucking happened. That's for sure. I would have never met you. I'd put money on that.
Same. Same
You
with
know,
you. Same with you. I mean, obviously. um, so in closing up here, shortly, how important do you think it is not only just come into a program, but to come into the program and work it, get a sponsor, stuff like that? How important, crucial do you think that is?
This is the way I put it. They always tell you when you're new, don't get in a relationship your first year. I think that's bullshit. I think you should get in a relationship with the meeting that you go to, with the people in that meeting, introduce yourself, get a book, basic text, start reading, get a relationship with the book. Just basically get in a relationship with the program of Narcotics Anonymous your first year, because that's it. You know, the biggest thing you could do to a newcomer when they first walk in and you ask them, first, put your hand out or give them a hug. I give them a hug. They hate it. Uh, and ask them their name. And then the next time you see them, remember their name and go, "Hey, Chris, how you doing? Hey, Rose, how you doing?" That is one of the biggest fucking things you can do to a newcomer. So they remembered my name. They remembered my name. As stupid as that sounds, that's a big fucking deal. Everything else is okay, but they remembered my name.
You know what you made that exaggeration about okay, but like there's a lot of stuff that also a newcomer says when they come in. It's I know, and yeah, but
And you don't understand.
you don't understand. Yeah.
The three things a newcomer should never say, and I know this to be true because I've said all three of them repeatedly. The first one is, I know. The second one is, yeah, but. And the third one is you don't understand. Go back to the first one. I know. Well, if you know so fucking much, what are you doing here? Okay. Yeah, but my first sponsor always used to say that's the mating call of the asshole. And I looked at him and I went, yeah, but. And he goes, I rest my case. And the third one is, you don't understand. I don't understand what? I'm sitting in the same room as you. Fuck how much clean time I have. I'm sitting in the same room as you. What is it that I don't get about feelings? What is it that I don't get that I don't want to feel? And my life is miserable right now. What part of that don't I understand? What part of it of yours that you think I wouldn't understand? Did I
And one
stand
thing,
on? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
one thing I'd like to iterate to a newcomer is that like it doesn't mean that all our troubles are going to go away, and life isn't going to be life and shit isn't going to happen and people aren't going to die. Like we have to work. I think a program for us as any kind of addict or any kind of issue. We have to work it in order to discover ourselves, to help ourselves. If we don't do that, we're going to be stuck in the same pain over and over and have resentments towards everything. And and
I
and
have
like
a
if my
disease. Go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I have a disease that wants to keep me in the negative. I think the Just for Today was that way today. It wants to keep me in the negative. I was going to say, I may have not stood on your corner, but I stood on a corner. I may have not been in your jail, but I've been in a jail. You know, I may have not been in your garage, but I've been in a garage. I learned a new word here
Where does it
this
say?
year.
Where does it say we end up if we use?
Jails, institutions, and death. And everybody thinks death means a physical death. No, death means a spiritual death. That's the death. That's the motherfucker. Disease will kill you. No, it won't. It's not designed. It's not its job. Its job is to make me as miserable as it can make me for as long as it can make me miserable. And when it can't do that anymore, it'll convince me to kill myself.
Yeah,
It's not in the killing business. It's in the misery business. And it wants to make you as miserable as it can for decades. For decades. You know?
I always say addiction is like bed bugs. It's not picky.
Well, yeah, and the deal is you were saying life. I tell people life isn't good, life isn't bad. Life is life. What happened was is I came to Narcotics Anonymous, got involved with the program, started changing the way I acted, which started to change the way I thunk, which started me on the steps, which changed the way I behaved. And because my decisions were different because I was behaving different, My life got better. Not life, my life. I chose to make it better. I chose to do positive things. Did it happen overnight? Oh, of course it did. Don't you know I woke up one day and went, I'm going to go to Narcotics Anonymous. And next day they handed me the fucking world. Yeah. No, they didn't. Over time, not overnight. It took you a long time to get to where you're at. It'll take you a long time to get back. But it gets better along the way. Everybody sits there and says, I can't, when the people ask me, well, is it going to get better? I said, I don't know. I said, if you do this, I know it'll get different. And for this addict, different was better. For this addict, I put in the work. Did every day go bitching? Oh, of course it did. Rainbow Bright blows out of my asshole every single day. Yeah, that's it. No. But for the most part, I wouldn't change what I have. I always say,
Because you don't have to anymore. You don't have to.
I don't have to
And
do anything. I don't even have to stay clean.
you
I
have a choice.
chose to. I
Yep, that's
chose
it.
to. I woke up this morning and chose to, just like I did yesterday morning and the day before that and the day before that. So, yeah, I understand it's a choice. That's why I always say it's a program of change.
Well, you're exactly right, and thank you so much for your wisdom and experience, strength,
I
hope,
have
and
wisdom.
message of recovery
I have wisdom.
today.
I have it on
Um,
tape now. I have wisdom.
yes, yes. But
Thank you for
thank
having me.
yes,
It's
it was a
been my
pleasure.
honor. It's been my pleasure.
Yes, and we'll have to do another one sometime.
Yes. And
Revisit.
and I will have the opportunity now to stalk you, and it's great. And
Yeah, sure.
stalk
Yeah,
you later.
that's right. That's right. Well, hey, I appreciate you, and
Appreciate
let me
the
uh,
fact that you offered asked me to participate. It's phenomenal. I don't.
right. Stick
It's a
around one
privilege.
second. Yeah, no, thank you. Stick around one second. I'm going to stop this, and then I'll talk with you. 1 second here.